Hi there. We're going to go look at the syllabus right now in this video. And so we're in the Welcome to Class module. We're going to go to the syllabus and just touch on a few things. So here, let's see, let's make it a little bit larger. Again, more information, email, cell phone, classes online. Now, if you do need an appointment and we need to meet to go over, whether or not it's a test, or, go through any homework questions, this is the Zoom link that you would use for our meeting. And then I can also email it to you as well once we have an appointment set up. This right here is a link to my YouTube channel with the videos, but it's a whole lot easier to go through Canvas and just click on the video and it takes you right to the exact video for that lesson. So, I don't know. I don't even know if you really need this because of the Canvas links, which is you should use. Okay, co-requisites. All right, now then with the materials, I kind of touched on that first video that I sent out that I emailed. But the book itself is optional. And this right here, my Math Lab software, the platform is not optional. It is required. It's around $100 or so. But this book is embedded in here. And I talk about that in the How to Use Pearson video. Uh, Now, if you have to go through um, the bookstore, you'll have an access code for this. Some of you may need to use the bookstore because of scholarships and financial aid. Otherwise, you should watch the video because it's a little bit cheaper if you go directly through Pearson rather than using the bookstore. But either way, either get an access code through the through the bookstore, or you can watch the video and there's some other options. There's also a 2 week free, access option that you can use in case you don't have the funds to pay for it. You can still get started in the class because they give you a 2 week free access before you have to pay. And I explained that in the video, but this is required. You've got to do this. And this ID number right here, if you ever have any need of tech support from Pearson, they're going to ask you for this ID, this Bailey 99437. So keep that in mind. All right, so here, let's see, as far as the grading goes, we have 45% are tests, 40% is homework, and the final is 15%. And I do grade 90, 80, 70, 60. I do round up. So if you have an 89.5, then you end up with an A in the class. So I will round up. Let's talk about the individual as far as the test, the homework, and the final goes. The homework is found in Pearson, as well as the test and the final exam. So much is found in Pearson. And we're not going to do quizzes because this 8 week class, I had to cut something out. So I cut out the quizzes. So we won't have those. But as far as the homework assignment, if you're late with homework, um, I will deduct 10% for the problems that you have not completed yet. So if you do some of the problems before the due date in that homework, you'll get full credit. But it's just the problems after the due date where they'll take 10% off. And you guys, 10% is not that much. And go ahead and do that because a 9 out of 10 is better than a 0 out of 10. So, it's still, even if you're late, you can still get a 9 out of 10, which is an A. Now, for the tests, I use Respondus Lockdown Browser for your tests, which I explain in another video in week 1 and 2. I go through an example of how to use this in Pearson. It's not real difficult, and once you've downloaded it to your computer the first time, then you're done for the semester. I give you 2 chances on each test. So if you totally blow a test, contact me. I'll go through each of the problems with you, and then you can try it again. Or you can go through it yourself, or you can find a tutor or whatever, just go through that, understand your mistakes, and take it again. And Pearson will take the best of the two. So if you happen to do worse on the second time, it's all right. They'll use your first score to figure your grade. So you do have two of these. And I explain this into Welcome to Class. At the end of that module, there's a thing on tests and homework that you can read through where I kind of explain that you get two attempts on the test. The final exam, on the final exam, you're going to use Respondus Lockdown Browser with video monitoring. So I watch you take the exam to make sure that you're taking the exams by yourself. And so that, I'll explain that. If you don't want to use the video monitoring, have somebody, watching it just records you taking the test. You can go to a testing center and take your final. So whichever you're more comfortable with, either a testing center, maybe a library or someplace like that, you have options, or the Respondus Lockdown Browser with video monitoring where it records you taking the test. And that's just for the final only that I use the video monitoring. And then, of course, if you have any questions or any um, problems with any of the grade that you have. Oh, one other thing. Well, let me finish this one. Then I will just contact me. But on your tests, a lot of times Pearson is really picky because Pearson's going to grade it. And if you like forgot a decimal, you just put instead of 5.0, you just put 5 or something like that. I go through the test when you're done and give you points where I feel that Pearson was too picky. And so, and usually that happens in almost all tests, on all the tests, where Pearson was just way too picky. There was one where it was, Pearson wanted 8, and some people were putting 8 over 1. Well, it's the same thing, but Pearson was counting it wrong. So I'll go back and give you full credit. So, again, if you happen to get like a 70, uh, you may actually have done better once I go through your tests. And let's see, competencies. This is just something that you can kind of read through the things we'll be talking about in class. Here again, the homework and exam percentages, academic honesty. um, and let's see. Again, you can read through those. At the very end here, I have a tentative, and I want to emphasize that tentative course outline as far as what we're doing each of the weeks. We move pretty fast, we really do. I'm going to try to open up almost all the class here in about a week because I know vacations and you may want to work ahead. So I'm going to try to make that available to you. But here's your first 2 weeks, and then week 3, we go through 2 chapters until we get to week 5, where we start just doing one chapter. It gets a little bit tougher, so I try to just kind of limit it just to one chapter per week, and then your final exam. So, I hope that was kind of helpful with the grading. Oh, and I want to emphasize the fact your grades are not found in Canvas like other classes. Your grade is found in Pearson. And I show that to you in the video, how to use Pearson. So if you ever want your grade, just go to Pearson and there's your grade right there on your homepage. And it's pretty immediate, keeps it up to date. So, okay, now again, if you have any questions about this, as far as the requirement for the class, this online platform, anything like that, please never hesitate to contact me. Thank you.